Okay, today we are going to talk about polar graphs. So let's start the activity. Our goal here is to look at a Cartesian graph, which we're more familiar with, and see how that impacts the shape of a polar graph. So here we have x values and we have y values. But right now we're thinking of these x values as being theta or angle values. And these values up here, the y values, as being the radius values. So that means that if we move this point, this pi over 2 out 2.5 up 2.5 units, that's saying that at the angle pi over 2, we are, so this angle pi over 2, we are moving the radius out to 2.5. If we consider this one right here, this pi over 3, and we move it up 1.5, then you can see that that point then reaches right here on the curve. We're at pi over 3, comma 1, 1.5, and we've landed directly in the middle of that eye shape there. So let me clear all my pictures. And the goal here is to use these points to line them up so that all of the orange points are in the right position. We've got 5 more to figure out. Figure out how to get which of these green points do we move so that the orange points end up in the right places. Try that out and then come back. So we can see in this picture that those orange points need to be at this angle 7 pi over 6, 4 pi over 3, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 3, and 11 pi over 6. Those are these points right here. These 5 points are the points at that angle. So we want to move them out so that they're at the right height to line up with the orange circles. And there we go. Look at that. Okay, so what we see here is that in this picture, putting the green points at this height gives the orange points at that radius in this picture. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Okay, so in this example, we are now going to connect those points. So what we have here on the left-hand side is what our graph might look like if we just had a y as a function of x graph. We're moving the values of 4 different values of x. We're changing what the height y is. Okay, and so when you connect those with these different segments, that's going to impact and create points and line segments, or these curves, in the polar graph as well. So if we change, let's make these go up and down and up and down and up and down, up and down and up and down and up and down, up and down and up and down and up and down, I can make a nice flower by having these vary and go up and down. Why don't you try to make some other shape by moving these things around? Okay, so there's a couple more examples here where if we move them all to a particular spot, it's going to make an interesting picture. So if we move them all to the same height here, what do we get? Well, we get a circle. Look at that. So this equation, hey, look at that. It's told me already. This is the graph y is equal to 2. That gives that if we, instead of having y is equal to a constant, we had radius as a constant, that's the same thing as being a circle with that radius. So, different values of the radius, different values of theta give us different values of r. We might also decide what would happen if we made a line here. What would that look like? So here's a line that I've drawn in as y as a function of x, and in terms of r as a function of theta, that gives us this interesting spiral shape. Okay, next. All right, so what did we learn on the previous page? We learned on the previous page that when you have the same constant value, then you get a circle of that radius. So if I write r is equal to 2, that gives me the function r is equal to 2 is a circle in polar coordinates. What about r is equal to 3? Oh, that's 2. Well, r is equal to 3. Or r is equal to 4. Or r is equal to 5. Or r is equal to 6. Or that one with the here in the middle is 1 unit here. So r is equal to 1 gives me this circle. And just like before, we could use lists, and we could decide this is r is equal to 1 dot 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 1 2 dot 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 10, and that's going to give us circles of radius 1 up to 10. Although if we did 1 comma 1.1 up to 10, then that's going to give us a whole bunch more circles. Okay, next. All right, here's another Cartesian graph. Let's see what happens when we put the lines on that Cartesian graph. Whoa, whoa, what is happening on the right-hand side? Well, this sure looks also like a circle. It's not exactly the same circle, though. If you think about what we did on the previous picture, the other circle was centered at 0, but now this circle is centered not at 0, not at the origin. So as you change the theta, it tells you you're walking around this circle on the polar graph of 2 cosine of theta. All right, let's look at the next one. Your turn to explore. Move the points to make an interesting polar shape. Okay, so we did a line before. What if we did a parabola? What would that do? Whoa. That's not quite a parabola. Da, da, da. And then we come back down. What's going to happen here? Moving things around. If I zoom out, can I zoom out? I can't zoom out, but I can just move things down a little bit instead. I make an interesting, oh, let's make this shape right here. Okay, well this does this interesting like bean shape. If I move these things up and around, I can make the bean more like a spiral. So this leads to the question. On this previous page, what we've been doing is we've been moving these points around, but how do we make sure that the polar curve makes a closed polar shape? So right now, our shape is open. What do we have to do to make sure that it closes up? Make a Pac-Man. How do we make sure that this closes up? Now it's a closed shape. What's different about what we've done here that makes it a closed shape than before where it was an open shape? So think a little bit carefully about it and write down a couple of words that explain that. Okay, that's it for this exercise. See you soon.